So I had to get on here, and I just saw this headline: former Dream Theater singer Charlie Dominici dies. That is incredibly heartbreaking. When I got into Dream Theater, I'm of the age. I actually got into them on their first album, When Dream and Day Unite. A friend of mine said, "Oh, they sound like Rush. You ought to check it out." And obviously that was an oversimplification, but a lot of the reason they sounded like Rush was Charlie Dominici's vocals. The music was exceptionally progressive, obviously. Fortune and Lies, For Those Who Help to Set the Sun. I mean, just a tremendous album. And Charlie was a fantastic singer. And though I wasn't a fan of the first of the trilogy, he did a trilogy of albums under the moniker Dominici. And I thought albums 2 and 3 were absolutely incredible. But that being said, we'll start November 17th, 2023. This is from Blabbermouth. So, former Dream Theater singer Charlie Dominici has died. He was reportedly 72 years old. I knew he was older than the guys in Dream Theater. I guess I just never did the math on that. The news of Charlie's passing was broken by Dream Theater drummer Mike Portnoy, who took to his social media earlier today, 17th of Friday, to share a few photos of Dream Theater with Charlie, and he included the following message: "I am devastated to share the news of the passing of former Dream Theater singer Charlie Dominici. Charlie was the voice of DT on our debut album, When Dream and Day Unite, recorded back in '88. Beyond being a great singer, he was also an incredibly talented songwriter and a well-rounded musician on both guitar and keyboards." And that being said, they did Dream Theater did When Dream and Day Reunite, where they did the entire When Dream and Day Unite album live, in order. And there's a great behind the scenes because they brought Charlie out to actually do a couple of songs, and Charlie was talking about having. I think he was intimating that he was having a hard time, going to be able to do that and do the vocals. And Labrie was, and Charlie was talking about blowing out his vocals to make it happen. He'll just deal with the aftermath when it was over. And Labrie was like, "No, we will make this work." And, him and Labrie were really great together, in their conversations and supporting each other. So I really like that. While we parted ways in 1989, he always remained a friend, fronting the band that played at mine and my wife Marlene's wedding in 1994, reuniting with Dream Theater for When Dream in Day Unite's 15th anniversary show in 2004. Like I said, they put that out on CD and DVD through Yet Say Jam Recordings. It's really worth checking out. Opening for Dream Theater in Europe with his solo band in 2007, and coming to see myself and John Petrucci on our tour together in 2022. I was texting with him as recently as a few weeks ago when he texted me to congratulate me on my return to Dream Theater on the day of the announcement. He was so happy and excited for us all. Charlie's unexpected passing is a tremendous loss to everyone in the Dream Theater family, and we wish to extend our deepest sympathies to the Dominici family during this immensely difficult time. If you haven't seen it already, there is a documentary on Dream Theater's 1988-89 era that I compiled for When Dream and Day Reunite DVD called I Can Remember When. And that was the one I was alluding to. It is so worth seeing. And as he says there, that is a great tribute to Charlie and his time in the band. And it really is. I mean, and you just see what a lovely person he is. But on top of that, like Labrie or not, Labrie is very generous and very just, those two together were terrific. Hashtag rest in peace, Charlie Dominici. Hashtag When Dream and Day Unite. Dream Theater added in a separate statement, "We are devastated to hear the news of the passing of former Dream Theater singer Charlie Dominici. Charlie was the voice of Dream Theater on our debut When Dream and Day Unite, recorded back in '88. Beyond being a great singer, he was an incredibly talented songwriter as well as a rounded musician on both guitar and keyboards, and a longtime friend even after his departure from the band. Charlie's unexpected passing is a tremendous loss to everyone in the Dream Theater family, and we wish to extend our deepest sympathies to the Dominici family during this immensely difficult time. Dominici was Dream Theater's second vocalist, having replaced Chris Collins while the band was called Majesty. He was later replaced by James Labrie. More recently, Dominici fronted his own eponymously named progressive metal band, which had released 3 albums, and they were a trilogy. They were this full story. And let's see. In a 2008 interview with BigMusicGeek.com, Charlie stated about how he originally became involved with Dream Theater. Let's see. I basically just saw an ad in the paper. They weren't even Dream Theater yet. They were called Majesty. There was just something about the way they worded it. I said to myself, either these guys are completely full of shit or they're really good. And obviously it turned out to be the latter. So I called up for the audition, and I was really busy. I remember I kept postponing the audition. They wanted me to bring a PA system, and I was like, yeah, right. Okay, no problem. It basically turned out like any other audition except that it was for Dream Theater. I was doing my best impression of their previous singer, and at one point they were about to say, okay, we'll call you. And I was like, give me something that no one has ever sung before, some fresh lyric that doesn't have a melody for it. Because back then my strong point was my creative side. I'm not a high operatic vocalist like multi-octave Queensryche frontman Jeff Tate or James Labrie. I don't sing like that, It's not my style, and I don't want to sound like everyone else. So my attitude was like, give me something and let me do my thing so we can see if it's what you're looking for. They handed me the lyrics to Killing Hand from 1989's When Dreaming Day Unite. I looked it over, listening to the music once through, and said, okay, let me sing it. And basically wrote the Killing Hand melody line right there on the spot. About a week later, I got a call informing me that I would get the probationary position. I was like, what? Am I going to work for a corporation or something? So I was basically a hired hand. Anyone that gets to sing for that band is just a hired gun. Asked at what point he realized his time in Dream Theater was coming to an end, Charlie said, there was a very complicated time. There were a number of issues going on at the time. People who saw the situation from the outside have a very interesting slant on things. It's either Charlie was booted out or Charlie quit. I always like to say that neither one of those are true. What happened was that I fired the band. To me, it's funny. I've been in so many bands and have left so many bands for many different reasons. Very few bands have booted me out against my will. The bottom line is that there were a lot of issues that were happening. The record company, Mechanic Records, wasn't behind us. They weren't doing the things that they'd promised. There was going to be a video. There was going to be a Japanese tour. I was like at the end of a long period of being in bands and just plugging away. These guys were like 21. This was their first real experience, and I had already been there and done that, So I was burnt out, and I was like, yeah, this shit sucks. I started losing it. I was out of control at the time. I was still into a lot of craziness, doing a lot of the wrong stuff all the time. It all piled on top of each other, and we all just started going our separate ways. So we were getting to the point where we were all going to realize that I wasn't the right singer for them, and they weren't the right band for me. When they came to me about it, I was like, yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. I was like, thank God. To this day, believe it or not, I'm happy that I left the band for 2 reasons. First of all, it was a very difficult thing for me to sing in that band. The vocals were out of my range. I was working for other people. It was a slave gig to me. It wasn't enjoyable. I had enough years of music that weren't enjoyable for me to be in a band with guys that were much younger than me. I was the only one who had any experience. I was doing vocals that were out of my range. I was out of control physically with all the shit that I was doing. I was at that point in my life where I was just burned out. I was tired of it. The record company turned us down and just kind of left us there. And I was like, all right, well, that's it. I'm done. Asked if his departure from Dream Theater was the primary catalyst behind the decisions to take an extended break from the music industry, Charlie said, yeah. That's the understatement of the year. Did my frustrations lead me to taking a break? That's like asking if O.J. Simpson's frustration with Nicole led him to slashing her throat. God damn, really? Okay. Yeah, I think so. I was completely frustrated with the business. And again, it's hard for people to realize that because they didn't see me at the end of something, they saw me at the beginning of something. I was at the end of a long period of many bands and many trials and tribulations that never came to much fruition. I wanted to get out of music. I had decided that as much as I had loved it, I didn't love it anymore. If you don't love it anymore, it's like a marriage. Once the love is gone, it's just a matter of going through the steps to wrap things up and tie up the loose ends so you can go, your separate ways. For me, it was like getting divorced from my music career. I stayed away a little bit longer than I thought I would. I was beginning to think I was going to stay away forever. I thought that was part of my life that was finished. I pretty much just started to go work other jobs. I was actually pretty successful in finance in the auto business. I was running Toyota dealerships by myself. I was making good money, but I was miserable. I was driving a fancy Mercedes-Benz convertible around San Diego and had everything that you could want in my house, but I was totally miserable. I sold it all when the love for music came back and I started writing and feeling creative again. I didn't care if I'd made it. In fact, I was hoping that I wouldn't make it. I just wanted to make music my way without anyone telling me how to do it. And apparently you can watch the I Can Remember When documentary on YouTube in its entirety. I have it on the DVD, so I guess I've never looked for it. There is the promo picture for When Dreaming Day Unite, iconic picture. And oh, that's a nice one. I guess that's a studio picture because that's another version of it. So that's really sad news that Charlie's since passed away. I mean, I guess it's going to happen to everyone. No, it's going to happen to everyone. But he, like I said, he was the original lead singer for me when it came to Dream Theater. And for a good while, there was only that first album, When Dreaming Day Unite, and my favorite song off of it was Afterlife. I listened to that song over and over and over. But I mean, for the ones who helped to set the sun, Fortune Lies, like I said, of course, Yet Say Jam, it's just a solid album, and I liked what they did on the 15th anniversary. It was really good, and but it seems that he was where he wanted to be when he passed away. And that's lovely. I mean, that's the best you could ask for, is to be happy in your life and honestly be happy in your mindset. So it's sad that we lost him, but he like I said, he seemed to be happy when he passed away. So I just wanted to share that. It just popped up on my feed. And I'm a huge Dream Theater fan. They're definitely one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time. And that's it. If you stay till the end, thanks for tuning in. I'll try to be more consistent with the uploads. The last story that I did about Janie Lane has been sitting on my mind for the last few days, and I haven't felt like talking about anything. And this kind of took me out of that mindset. So I hope you have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Later.